going on, man? It's out here giving my body some glory this morning. Get some of that good vitamin D from the sun. I mean, you spend all your time giving everything to everybody else. Get something to yourself, man. It's a beautiful day outside. Especially if you're in Houston. It's hot as hell. But go ahead and get that work. But anyways, I want to talk about the things I saw at war and why I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with the war in Ukraine. I don't agree with no wars happening nowhere. Is war necessary? Yes. Can cooler heads prevail? Yes. Do ego, pride, and dick swinging get in the way? Yes. I don't like it. But if you don't know, for the people who don't know, I was at war for 6 years. I initially started with KBR in Iraq, and at Balad in Afghanistan, Balad and Al-Assad in Iraq. And then I moved over to SAIC and worked with them for a little bit. Worked with them over there in Afghanistan. I worked with them in Leatherhead, Leatherneck, Dwyer, and Kandahar. When you get into a wartime situation, man, at first, you see it from your side. You know, you're American. You see it from your side. You're going over there to support your troops. We got to win the war. We got to get rid of Osama bin Laden and all terror associated, because it's the war on terror. So you fighting terror. Terror don't have no name, face, whatever. So you can just goddamn demonize anybody a terrorist, and that day they're a terrorist. So when you're over there, you start seeing stuff, man. So in Iraq, we used to talk to the nationals. And the thing is that you start seeing is the effects of war, the ripple effects of the war, and what it does to the people of that country, what it does to you personally, and like what it does to the country in general. You know, the land that these people have been sitting their damn heads on for ages. You're walking in there, and like, let's use this from America's standpoint, right? Let's say somebody came in here and just dropped bombs all over America. The target they were looking for, they knew exactly where the target was at, but they decided not to hit the target. Nope, we're going to blow up everything around the target. But in the midst of blowing up everything around, there's these people called casualties of war. These are the people who are just sitting around minding their damn business, and they get swept into this foolishness that politicians and world leaders get into. And so the casualties, the civilians, they're the ones that get the worst. They get the absolute worst of whatever this wartime situation is. So when you talk to these people, like, it's a brokenness in between them. And so we were over there for almost 20 years training their military. But the thing about not allowing people to stand on their own 2 feet, they never learn how to stand on their own 2 feet. So this is how in Afghanistan, the military could be taken over in a matter of months, or a matter of days for that fact, because you were the military. You were, in essence, the military for the Afghanistan military. You were the military. I don't know if people knew that, but we were the military. We were training them, but in a sense, we were the military. We were the only damn military they had. Remember, we destroyed their country. We destroyed their government and all of their military. And so we had to go in and rebuild that. But you can't rebuild something while at the same time offering all aid. It's all aid. So the people never really learn how to stand on their own too. They never really understand how to fight for themselves. They don't have the pride. They don't have the, but the Taliban, all of that, they do. And this is how civilizations great civilizations of the past have gotten toppled, because it was war, all war every day. This is the only way that we can solve a problem. No diplomacy. And it just drags people down. So now you look around America, we're the casualties. We're the casualties of bad policies for over the last 25, 30 years. Just toppling governments. Say, hey, it's terror. Gotta take out the terror. So y'all took out all the terror, and terror still exists because you can never get rid of terror. All you can do is provide peace and let terror get out the way, because when you provide peace, when you only providing peace and terror want to be terror, terror gonna have to find another way of doing business. And sometimes you're dealing with a dictator, and the dictator is not gonna listen, so you have to take measures. But why is it like a new war every day? Like this Ukraine war, I just don't believe in it. I think it could have been a solution, but I don't think we wanted a necessary solution. We wanted to be in the war business with Russia. I just don't think it's a good idea. Why? Because Russia, all of its other alliances that it's pulling together, they ain't been at war like us. Remember, your soldiers been at war for over 20 years. And being overseas and working with these soldiers, this is the stuff that you see when, you're not watching the army and all these other videos. You're watching the destruction of a person that used to be a soldier. Man, I'm talking about some of these soldiers get home, their wife's cheating, the kids, nobody understands you anymore. Nobody understands, because you done seen some shit that they don't even understand. All they're gonna do is, oh my God, I'm not sorry to have you. They don't understand what psychologically that happened to you. So your kids and your wife are probably gonna think you crazy after a while. When I first came home from Iraq, and we got to look at it from this standpoint, I wasn't even participating in fighting the Taliban. I was just aiding the military with fighting the Taliban, or whatever they were calling them. I don't know. And I still came home with the effects of being at war, because there was several situations where I could have been dead. Just rockets landing random places and you sitting close. Just never know, man. Like, it's a situation like, let's give an example of just the spoils of war. Things that just happen when you at war. So we're at work one day. My friend comes in, he says, hey man, I just got these new studio quality Beats headphones. My son is a producer, he sent them to me. So he let me listen to the song his son produced with the brand new studio quality Beats headphones. I'm talking about, these headphones were immaculate. Like, you can hear anything going out or coming in. That's a good thing for the music. It's a bad thing when you're in a wartime situation. So I'm out there, and he listening to me, and so he going to talk to my other homeboy that's in the room with him. So it's two people in this office. So he go over there and holler at the other my other homeboy in the office. And all of a sudden I'm playing the beat. And all of a sudden I see both of them jump to the ground. And then I watch my desk rise up to my eye level and then slam back down to the ground. And I take off the Beats headphones and I say, what the hell is going on? they say a bomb just hit right behind us, because you felt the shake, like you in these buildings, but it felt like an earthquake. So we run out to the bunker, because you got to get on the ground for a little bit, and then after you get your first all clear, you run to the bunker. So as we're running outside to the bunker, we see that the bomb that hit inside of one of our warehouses. And so inside these warehouses, we were fixing battle damaged. These are vehicles that have already been damaged at war. So that's the type of vehicles that my particular company oversaw. So on this day, man, I'm gonna tell you how God worked. It's very crazy. On this day, I guess they hadn't put any diesel into the generator. So the generator ended up going out, and the person that was coming to service the generator, it took them about an hour to get out there. So we didn't have any lights inside of the warehouse, that particular warehouse that got hit. And so when the lights are out, when there's no electricity in the building, we have to leave out. We have to go outside. And so that rocket hit that building where all those people were kind of standing at the door of the building, but not inside of the building. Had they been inside the building, they'd have been dead. But standing by the door, a lot of those guys got hit by the shrapnel. So we're just sitting there like watching people on the ground, like screaming and shit. And we run into the bunker, because that's what you told to do, man. You got to get to the bunker. So we finally get an all clear after a while, and they get all the people, off to the medics or whatever. But that's just one situation of one thing that has happened while I was overseas. But it was so many where, a bomb goes off maybe 50 yards away, and you're just sitting there watching a mushroom cloud in the air. You're just like, God damn, a rocket just hit right there, bro. That could have been us. And then after a while, you just become numb to it. This is how I know America is numb to all the foolishness that's happening. Over there, you go through all these briefings and shit, briefings. And they say, run to the bunker, man. When you hear the alarms, run to the bunker. And they say, you're going to be out there for a while, you're going to start getting complacent. And, when you first hearing all this shit, bombs going off everywhere, you saying to yourself, man, I'm running to the bunker first time I hear the alarm. But the thing is, like when we were at Kandahar, man, my first duty station was at Balad, and they had me at the place, and it was on the airfield. So I'm working at a warehouse on the airfield. The airfield was close to a gas field where they stored all the gas and shit at. So the Al-Qaeda, whoever, the terrorists would try to hit this gas place, this gas farm, and they would always hit our building. So this one day, our foreman, our shop foreman, she's in our office, and there's a couple of employees up in there, some soldiers up in there. So the alarm goes off. Get to the bunker. Remember, we done got complacent, because we done been out here about, some people have been out here for 6 months. Some people have been out there for 3-4 years. And so they hear the alarm, and they don't even do nothing. They just sit there at their desk. Well, on this particular day, a rocket comes through the back of the warehouse and comes straight through the wall where my foreman is at. And the back, or the tip of the rocket, hits her in her back and slams her head against the desk. And, you're dealing with the Taliban or the Al-Qaeda. You're dealing with terrorists, so they don't get like the best rockets or whatever. But sometimes they make it through, and sometimes they explode. And so this particular rocket, it didn't explode, but had it exploded, all of my, friends, workers, all of that would have been blown to bits. But God had his hand in it, and the rocket didn't go off, man. So we ended up making it to the bunker and making it another day. And for most people, you would think this happening, you would just go ahead and, go home. Man, but what you also learn in being a human is when somebody paying you between $8,000 and $16,000 a month, you don't give a damn about dying. You just stay anyways. And this is what you learn about human nature and the psyche of humans. We all want to pay our bills. We all want to feel like the man. We all want to feel like, we the providers. So you end up staying, man. You have all this stuff, this trauma that's continuously happening, plus the stuff that's happening at home, because that's still happening. Remember, I lost my mom. I lost my aunt had a stroke. It's a lot of stuff that happened to me while I was working over there, but just the spoils of war and the trauma associated is enough to drive you crazy. And I wasn't even doing the fighting. I was just in support of the military. So I know that it jacked up a lot of those troops. So just going back to me saying, man, I'm not a fan of war in any shape or form, but I know that it is necessary.